So Jared Goff is the latest quarterback to have quotes and comments off the Netflix show Quarterback that are starting to make the rounds. Here was the current Lions quarterback talking about how the trade went down and his issue with the Rams handling of his deal to Detroit a few years back.
So 2020 season happens. 3 weeks after the last game of the season, get a call from Sean, and really did not expect anything. He lets me know, they're trading me to Detroit, and I'm kind of like, oh, whoa, okay, all right. What the hell, what's happening? And I would say about 30 seconds after that phone call, it was on Twitter. You feel like you've been betrayed or like you're not wanted. And I think for me, ultimately, it was the fact that there wasn't a conversation had and that there wasn't like a, hey, we're thinking about moving on type of thing. There was nothing. You wish that it wasn't such a blindside, and you wish that there was some sort of maturity, I guess, to have that conversation and to be able to let me know what's going on and how things went down and why this is happening. It was my first real taste of true adversity, and your career is kind of at a fork in the road.
So that was Jared Goff of the Lions discussing the trade from the LA Rams years ago on Netflix's show, The Quarterback. So,
quarterbacks, they must have an alternate reality than other players. I mean, it's interesting. We just were talking about Kirk Cousins and how he felt like he was misled. I mean, they all just sound like a bunch of soft mother effers, man.
Damn.
Listen, I can understand what Jared Goff is saying here, but again, this is business. This is business, and you can throw out there should be a level of maturity and different things like that. It must be a different level of a communication and entitlements for quarterbacks. Because, I mean, it seems like every time I hear a conversation coming from them, it represents something that you would expect if you have the courtesy of the back and forth. Like, I felt like I wasn't wanted. They didn't want you. That's why they traded you. If they wanted you, you wouldn't be traded. So you felt like that you were blindsided by it. That happens to players every single day. And it's not an interview. It's not on a Netflix special. It's not on Fox Sports or ESPN. It's not anywhere really. It's just you see it. It's a head, or it's not even a headline. It's just there, right? Transactions, they're called. Go look at transactions on online. NFL transactions. You'll see a whole bunch of stuff taking place. Those are people. Those are people. That's not currency or anything like that. It's those transactions that you're looking at. Those are actually real, living, breathing people. They have families, wives, kids, you name it, girlfriends, all that stuff. They're people. And this is generally only a conversation when quarterbacks are involved. It really is. Like, every once in a while you'll have a legendary player and it'll be a different position, but it just doesn't hit the same. I just feel like maybe the rules of engagement surrounding quarterbacks is much different than it is for the rest of the players on the team.
I would say for Jared Goff, who's discussing how he wished things would have been handled differently. Look, Sean McVay admits to the same thing as well too. He said it multiple times. Wish I could have gone back and handled that better. I would say though, it worked out better for everybody involved because Jared Goff went to Detroit in what they thought was basically sort of a salary dump type deal. Like, all right, we'll take on the salary, but it's really because we're, trying to build. And all of a sudden, they found lightning in a bottle. And he's completely revitalized his career. They've completely revitalized that franchise. It was the perfect storm of events that got him there. And you can argue playing the best football of his career outside of Sean McVay with Ben Johnson and company in Detroit. And so you look at the Rams side, and, Matt Stafford came in and they won a Super Bowl. And, yeah, there's been times where you could compare the two and say, well, look, man, like Jared Goff's had better numbers at certain points than Matthew Stafford. He's played better football at a higher level. They've met in the playoffs, and Jared Goff got the better of him there. I just look at it and I go, at the time, I could understand the complaint, but also you couldn't have been that blindsided by it because the writing was on the wall. And anybody that was in town here can tell you that. Man, Jared Goff was dealing with a little bit of he had an issue or an injury going into a playoff game in Seattle, his final year there, and Sean McVay made the decision to start John Wofford in a playoff game, as opposed to Jared Goff. Wofford gets hurt early, might have been even pregame or first play of the game. Goff comes in, and they win that game, and he actually played, and they played pretty well on the road at Green Bay the following week, and Aaron Donald had an injury and all that. But you had heard some stuff come out about, man, Sean McVay and Jared Goff aren't getting along. Maybe this is the end of the road. Maybe they go their separate ways. All of a sudden, Matthew Stafford becomes available. Detroit's going full rebuild, and then the move happens. In real time, I could understand, I wish it would have been handled differently. Probably made it worse that they went and won a Super Bowl the very next year. But damn, if you look back, it worked out well for everybody involved. Everybody came out of that clean, and everybody came out better for it. And I think Jared Goff should realize he was never going to be embraced by the LA Ram fan base like he's been embraced by Detroit. That was never going to happen out here. They love that guy.
If he won the Super Bowl, and he was close. He was close. I get where he's coming from, but I don't understand why he would, I mean, maybe he does. I get why he would say it. And I would be blindsided if I didn't have a feeling up to getting traded that I wasn't going to be there, knowing how well the team had been doing. They weren't doing bad. It was not a bad team. And there were rumblings, there were conversations about if they could get Matthew Stafford. That was coming out before it happened. That wasn't like it popped up. I recall us, people in media were having conversations about the possibilities of that taking place.
Because the Lions finally made him available because they were like, we're going to rebuild. We've tried. It's over. And they did him a solid.
You cannot be surprised if something like that happens. Like, just rule number one, advice, never be so naive that you think that the franchise that you play for doesn't at some point find you to be expendable to their team. You have to understand it that way. And that's why I get confused when people are so harsh in their judgments of players, like you burn their jerseys or you call them traitors or anything like that. It's like so team oriented, but the reality of it is that the team gets to do what they want to do with the players. The players don't. The players are at the mercy of the decision makers. And so when a player decides to put business over feelings of a relationship with an owner or feelings in a relationship with a fan base, the ones who choose to go that lane, you should not have an issue with them. If they hold out for a bigger contract and it's being released that they're difficult to deal with, or this one is difficult to negotiate with, or their agent is difficult to negotiate with, you shouldn't get upset. The business is playing out through the media. They're using the media to have the fan base shame, or the media to shame the athlete and their agent. And the reality of it is that the franchises are going to do what they want to do, how they're going to do it, and when they're going to do it. And there generally is really no real repercussions to it. Even if you make as egregious a mistake as letting a Saquon Barkley go from your team. Like, there have been such egregious situations where these things have played out and you've seen it. And there's very, very minimum fallout from it. But you let a player pull a fast one on an organization, and they're like public enemy number one. I just think that fans have to understand in these situations, in these moments, that handling your business and putting business first is, whether unfortunate or fortunate, however you look at it, it's the reality of it. And I also think that players have to look at it the same exact way. Do not look at your employment with an organization as this is about loyalty. It's unfortunate that it's not able to be that, but it's not that. There may be a rare instance here and there, but that is not in general. That's not how the business of professional, I'll speak on football because I didn't play professional in any other sport, but that is not the culture of professional football.